This is episode 196. Radium Nightcap is my new band name.
Nice.
Inspired.
How about this? Where this podcast is going, we don't need roads. It's the tone control. Classic.
If I stay quiet, it seems like I'm not here. Shit.
Oh shoot, wrong screen.
Oh my God, Justin.
Hey, it's the tone control complete with your bi-weekly dose of fuck-ups. Fucking A. Guys.
One of these times we're going to have a nice, smooth show with no mistakes. No.
Nope.
Maybe that'll be what we do for 200.
200, no mistakes.
We
That's
just skip
already
it.
the title. No mistakes. New centennial, new goals, no mistakes.
No mistakes.
This
just totally throw you off, or what's happening?
well, I like you saw like right before I started, right? I even practiced like which button goes to which scene, and then I pushed the wrong fucking button. Oh,
What a time.
what a time there is. You know what? It's tone control. Hi, Derek.
Yeah. Hi, Justin. Hello.
So,
we had a question in the chat right before
Question in the
recording
chat.
started, and then we said, like, let's just record the answer.
what does your name mean? Well, when I was a wee lad, my parents told me that. No, I was going to make something up about the name Justin, and nothing came to me. So that joke, we're just going to let it float by.
Mm-hmm. There it goes.
There it goes. It's gone. Donna Schlempe. So several weeks ago now, I changed my name in Discord to Donna Schlempe, which means can't even get it out. Which means thunder bitch
in German.
in German, and I actually cannot for the life of me remember why we learned what thunder bitch was in German and why I changed my name to that. I know we were sitting on a hilltop overlooking the vineyards.
Right. That's when you changed it. I think it started because your wife called my wife a thunder bitch.
Okay, this tracks.
And we thought it was a very funny thing to say.
Yeah.
And then we just sort of called each other that for a few days.
Yeah.
It was the ongoing funny time. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, and now that's we said I bet that's got a really funny aggressive name in German. And
Right.
lo
For
and
some
behold.
reason, because everything sounds kind of like that, right, in German.
Right.
So
Yeah, aggressive and intense.
yeah, high intensity naming.
High intensity thunder bitch. Doug's throwing gifts in the chat and he's driving. So I think we should all look at Doug and say, hands free,
job.
Doug.
Oh,
He's at home now. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I believe it. So,
according to Google, Justin means just, upright, righteous.
I thought that said uptight for a second. Like, who would willingly call their kid uptight?
Thanks, Tim.
This kid's born and you're like, looks a little uptight.
Well, guys, we've got a podcast. There's some gear. There's some pedal. There's some review.
Yeah.
And some listener topics. We've got a smorgasbord of thingamajiggers. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do this.
Thanks to Pedal Genie for sponsoring the tone control. Visit pedalgenie.com and start your wish list today.
And then I'm going to say, Derek, what the heck's been going on with you for 2 weeks?
Band stuff.
Yeah.
Like band
Let's talk about
stuff. It's been, so I still haven't done the live stream, and I was thinking today, like, why haven't I done it? And in fact, I still have the pedal that I said I would stream. And I still
yeah.
will do it. I just haven't had time because I was like, why am I so busy? It's band stuff. So that's what I've been up to. We had the show a couple weeks ago, which was pretty cool. Did we talk about this? Are we in between? When was that show? I can't remember.
Did we talk about when we? Oh no.
Did we talk about, because we recorded the Thursday before the show. Oh, where's my calendar? So is this the first recording after that show has happened?
I think this is the first time we've gotten
Let's
together.
just look at the notes. Yeah, it is. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I can tell you how the show went. The show was really interesting. It was the first live application of the Helix in-ears setup, and it worked as expected. It was cool. There's this added step to sound check now where you ask, am I coming through the mains? Which is not something you usually have to ask. But
not something you ever worried about before?
Yeah, and because I can hear myself great in the headphones and everybody else can. I'm like, well, they're they're not noise canceling, but they're like an ear plug. So they're really tight and you can't hear much outside noise. So I was like, well, can someone confirm that the audience can hear this?
Do I exist?
Oh, right. Yeah. So they all had to check for that stuff, but it was good. Delaney has this kind of hilarious problem where sound check, something always doesn't work.
So just like this?
Like, yeah.
Just like the tone control?
Pretty much. And gigs are, well, for the tone control, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because we do this every 2 weeks for the last 8 years, but we don't gig that much. So it's like when something happens, it's like, wait, does this plug in here or does it plug in there? And there's always kind of some troubleshooting thing that needs to happen that slows us down. And it's just how it is. And we take a long time because we've got in-ears setups, we've got click track, we've got backing tracks. Matt has 2 mics, one for the piano, one for guitar. So it's like all this extra gear from like maybe a conventional band setup. So getting all of that working correctly always takes longer than we anticipate. And really, if we have a 45-minute set, we should not set it up for 45 minutes of music. We should set it up for like 35 minutes of music because there's going to be an added 10 of setup. So we did have to cut a song, which was a little annoying, but, is what it is. The show was cool, though. It was outdoors. It was this big, like, sort of arts and music festival thing up in Concord. Lots of food and vendors and tents and cool things to do.
Yeah.
We played in the late afternoon. We went on at 5:15. Had a 45-minute set. It was fun.
So it's like a long thing.
Yeah, it's actually Thursday through Saturday. And it's all day.
Okay.
It's like 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. those days or something like that. So it's a big event. It was canceled last year, of course, because of the pandemic. So this year it was like, everybody's back. Yay, fun. Guitar stuff worked perfectly. It was nice. It was very reliable. Something that I need all technology companies to work on a little bit for this is making sure you can see the screens in the sun.
Bright screens.
Give me the brightest bright screens. I ran into this with my Strymon timeline once. Like we were playing an outdoor 1 o'clock show or at some festival thing again, and it's like, oh shoot, I cannot see it at all. So every song, crouch down, covering it with your hand and pushing the preset buttons and trying to read. Thing. Yeah. But
you need like a little cardboard shield.
Yeah, they make those, and I was like, well, talk about the nerdiest thing you've ever seen. Nope.
Yeah.
Now I'm the guy who needs it. So
yeah.
But Eric says this is why I go straight into my amp. No pedals, guitar cable amp. But it was weird, playing a show. This is our first show in almost 2 years. It was like 22 months or something. And Sean's here. Hey, Sean.
Sean's here. What's up, man?
Welcome. Sean hasn't been in the chat in a while. He's back. And Doug's back. Everybody's back today. It's a good night in the server.
Everybody's here.
So anyway, the show was good. The first couple songs, it's nerve-wracking as hell though.
They kicking rust off.
Yeah, and it's like, right, like it sounds so different here than the practice space, and like that alone is really jarring.
And you feel that really jarring even with your in-ears. That isn't solved.
Right, because then there's like the added stage noise and like the air noise of just the open mics and stuff like that is all different. And so took like a song and a half to feel like, okay, like, no, calm down, everything's fine. Like I was practiced, I was comfortable with the songs, but you still have that sort of like jittery, like your playing has absolutely no vibe to it. Like no soul whatsoever because you're just so locked in on not messing up. But shook it off. It felt good pretty quickly after we started. It was nice. It's a hot day. It's good. Good to be back. We have one other show this year, and it's in October at a barn, which is going to be really cool.
Okay, at a barn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, so it was cool. Other than that, we started pre-production for a song that we've been working on.
Nice.
So getting that going. One of our members is about to have their first kid, so we're trying to get as much done as we can before baby time, so he can go off and do that. And
precisely the time when he should be relaxing as much as possible.
Right. Yeah.
Don't tell him that.
Nobody tell him. Yeah. But it's cool. The song is in 7/4 time, except for like 2 measures, and they're not even next to each other. So. So it's cool.
BB time, baby time.
A lot of people.
Baby time. Oh, he's talking about babies. I thought we were talking about time. Yeah.
A lot of chatter.
Cool. Yeah,
so,
that's what I've been up to. Hill? Is that the song?
No. We don't even, I don't think the song has a real name yet. Right now it's saved in my Helix as 7/4 song.
That's such band stuff.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Actually, I was looking at our working titles list the other day because we were over.
One,
stuff like that. So we've got Matt's really bad at naming songs in their working title process, so he usually calls them like groovin' or driving riff or names it like after whatever pedal he's using, and he's too much pressure to come up with something good. I was like, just name it something on your desk. I have demos called like coffee cup and wristwatch and like just stuff that's around, just so because it's better than like song idea number 4,
Yeah.
So looking at the list, and we've got 7/4 song. We have one called Heavy Metal Paul McCartney.
Okay, can't wait.
Medicine Ball, and Daddy's Home is the other one. I think there's a 5th one that I'm forgetting, but those are the ones that I was looking at the list. Like, that looks like a pretty righteous EP. Let's just not rename any of the songs. This one's called Heavy Metal Paul McCartney.
That sounds good to me. I don't know. I wouldn't turn away from that if it came up on the YouTubes.
So the band Hop Mulligan has put out a song recently called Featuring Mark Hoppus, and he's not on it.
Oh my God.
He's not on it at all, which is so great. So anyway, that's all. How are you? How was your last 2 weeks?
Good. We're doing it. School started.
Right.
So back to sort of normal. Like, I chewed through all the podcasts I've been saving up in like a day. A couple of days to go on dog walks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But so now I need to it's school season. I need to expand my subscription list, get a few more in the hopper. But yeah, we've just been doing the things, the dogs and I, working, taking breaks to mow the lawn, it seems.
Did you guys get, go ahead. Sorry.
No.
I was going to ask if you had fallout from that hurricane.
A little bit, not much. It was sort of windy, rainy for a couple of days. Nothing.
Okay.
Which was very welcome up here because we'd been quite droughty actually until then. But any more issues with the couch? Has it come to life yet?
Right. For the
uninitiated.
I don't
remember what that's in reference to.
Your couch that your dog sitter peed on.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, I told you that we cleaned it. We rented the steam cleaner and we cleaned it. So we've just been, it's fine. It's just a couch again.
Let's just ignore it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's back to normal.
Good. Good.
We actually, so we went to, we took a little, this was like a birthday present for a couple of friends of ours that we wanted to do something for. So this past weekend, we went down to Kentucky, to Bourbon Country and did a little touring.
Oh,
and
yeah. You posted some pictures.
Like yeah. So we went down to, we ran by a couple, because all the distilleries are around there and you could just sort of wander in. But we had a little tour at Bardstown Distillery, which is one of the top 3 largest in the whole country or something. So in the bourbon industry, like wine, actually, there's a lot of people that sort of, it's like a white label production. So this is one of those distilleries where they have their own bottles, but they also bottle for many other brands that are smaller, and also will make and store and then send barrels off. And so some of them do their own bottling. Sometimes they bottle there and just slap their own label on it. So it's that kind of thing. But the place is massive. But we went out there, did some tastings right out of the barrel, and
nice.
It was pretty cool. The girl running the tour was like super knowledgeable, and people are asking questions, and she never said and like thought about stuff. Like she had all these answers with like numbers and things like that. Yeah, like here's what this one is. This is typical 51% corn. Now here's another one. This one's like 95% corn, and you'll taste it because of this, and that, and so on. Wife had her sips. She managed to do 2 sips of each, except the last one. She did 4 sips of that one. She especially liked the rye. Had sort of a minty tail, which she enjoyed. But she made quite a face. There you go. I did buy a bottle. The master distiller there like wanders around autographing bottles, and he was just like, we're in the gift shop like looking around, and he comes in with his jeans and t-shirt on and just like, hey, what's up? Starts signing bottles, putting them back on the shelf, talk to some people, walk away. He signed like 3 random bottles, but they don't mark them up or anything. It's pretty cool. So anyway, I haven't opened it yet, but it's pretty good. It's a nice blend, and then we rode some horses, which is pretty legit. I've done a lot of trail riding. This one was pretty legit as far as like the horses would actually like take off into a run if you let them sometimes.
That's cool. Okay.
It was pretty cool. It was a nice day, and yeah. So we had a good weekend down there. We left the kiddo at home for that. Obviously didn't bring her into the rick house. But anyway, yeah, it was a good time.
That's fun. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's all the nonsense. Should we talk about the guitars?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do this.
That sounds like something I would do.
It does. That's gonna be hold on, make sure I get it right. That's gonna be the Volante. Strymon. A Strymon number. Yeah, Sean likes
Volante.
it. So
yeah, that's a cool pedal. That's like one of those multi-head,
right,
like Echo Rec style delays.
Yeah,
that's a killer pedal.
That's one that they're good for. They're good for.
Yep.
Okay, so first up, some gear. What do you guys think?
Oh, wait a minute. No, first off,
wait.
Some administrative detail, Justin.
Oh, we were supposed to read this every time, fucking episode?
Yeah, let's read this for the next.
All right.
What are we on? 197. Let's throw it in there.
Episode 200. Is this 190? No, it's 196. For episode 200.
What is it?
It says that on the notes.
Wait, then my numbers are off. Oh, it's probably because where are my numbers off from?
Yeah, last week was 195. Unless you want to skip 196, we can skip it. We're just going to skip that
one. my notes for titles that I keep track of every week, I'm on 197.
Oh.
2, 3.
We can make up titles for that one.
Oh, I skipped 4. That's why. Whoops. Okay. 196. My bad. Okay. Yes. Anyway, continue.
Okay. For episode 200, we're opening up recording night to all members of the Discord. No Patreon subscription needed. For one episode only. And it's going to be tons of fun. So I hope that we can get a crowd in for that one. We are going to have fun time parties. I don't know what I have no idea what we'll get up to. It's going to be crazy.
We have not discussed what the show contents will actually be. So
I imagine it's going to be kind of a party, And we also have giveaways that's going to be going on to all patrons.
Yes.
We have
so make
special
sure
things lined up. So
make sure your address and mailing information are accurate in Patreon. And if you're a subscriber of the Tone Control, all levels of Patreon, so $1 plus. So we are not giving away the new Strymon phaser. Don't ask.
Do not ask. Okay.
We don't have that much money. Okay, yes.
Next up,
Now we can
Fractal
talk about this.
Audio FM9. Bitches, what do you think?
Bitches. So we have a channel in the server called DigiRig, and it's for the likes of Fractal and Helix and Headrush and whatever else digital signal modeling you might be doing. So we've been talking about this a little bit. This is the new foot controller, like the new floorboard designed Fractal product, the FM9. If you're familiar with the FM3 from a couple years ago, this is very similar. It's got 9 foot switches instead of 3. So it's double the processing power of the FM3, but still not as much processing power as the regular AXFX3 Mark II.
The 3. Yeah, the rack.
Yeah.
Jobby.
So when I was looking at this, I couldn't find, I didn't look very hard, honestly, but I couldn't find a ton of info about how much processing power
that equates to.
How much processing power the AXFX3 Mark II has, because all it says is the world's most powerful.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really help with how many cores?
Describe it in number of cores.
Yeah, these ones, the FM3 and 9, they do describe in the number of cores. So whatever. Anyway, so the FM3 came out last year. Like I said, it's got the 3 foot switches, and it often gets compared to the HX Stomp. I think because of that foot switch design. Makes sense.
Right.
Still totally different things, though. I think the Fractal is obviously running its software, which is different.
But are they functionally very different? Are there slight differences in features, but essentially they're doing the same job?
They're doing the same job for sure.
Yeah.
The FM3 is more powerful than the HX Stomp as well. So there's that. The FM9 has the 9 switches, and I think this is the one you want. I saw this come out, and I think this is the Fractal product that you want to get.
It's a sweet spot, right?
Yeah, because the rack mount thing is great and very powerful and kind of unstoppable, really. But to play it live, you need some kind of controller, or to just use the same tone all night, or to turn around and push buttons on the thing like a microwave, So,
well, and they had, obviously there's a solution for that, but as far as cost versus features, this is a humongous development.
Right. So to get the controller, the foot controller for the rack mount version is hundreds of dollars, right? It's still another major investment. The AXFX3 Mark II is already over $2,000.
Yeah.
And then you're adding another few hundred, maybe is it even $1,000 more to get the control? I don't know. It's a lot of money. So the FM9 is coming in at $1,600, which is the cost, I believe, of the Helix. I'm pretty sure that's the current going rate for a new Helix floor.
Okay.
The FM9 does not have any expression built in, but of course it can receive expression pedals.
So just any ordinary expression will work.
Yeah, they make their own as well,
Sure.
which is control. I think they're TRS, so they can be assigned to 2 different things.
Okay.
I kind of think Fractal was maybe losing some ground to Helix, Kemper, and Headrush when it came to the pedal board designed modeler.
Right.
Which is why we saw the introduction of the FM3 and now the 9. I know they had the AX8, which was the other thing, but these are far more streamlined and far more they look kind of the proper translation of the AXFX into a floor unit.
Sure, right. Whereas the other thing wasn't quite there.
Yeah, and it was processing power wise a few generations behind the other stuff, the rack mount stuff. So I don't think we need to get into the differences between Fractal and the other modelers, because that information is kind of everywhere.
Sure.
Right. But it's the thing that I've heard a few times is that Fractal's software is much more complicated than something like Helix or any of the others. And
Yeah, Helix I actually got to use for the first time the floorboard pretty recently.
Oh, really?
And I immediately figured out how to use it. So it was like, I hear this sound. I want to alter this about it. And like I turned one thing, nope, not that. Turned the second thing. Yep, it's this one. You know, like it was that easy. It's very visual. Now I'm looking at this right here, what I've got on screen. This looks like the Helix screen to me.
A little bit, right. So Helix is more like, here's your signal path, put things in the path, right?
Right.
And with Fractal, this is a grid, put things on the grid and connect them.
And draw the path.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
That's fine.
as you can see though on the blocks, there are way more types of blocks, like signal management things for you to introduce into your signal, which is where things get really wild. And I think I would get fairly confused. And Jonas, a supporter of the show, a friend of the show, has the FM3, and he's like, yeah, it's complicated. It takes some learning. I think, like we've said, like you just said, the Helix thing is far more intuitive. And you can get into the nitty gritty with like which one sounds better and which one feels better. But usability, it's not nothing.
Yeah. I'm not in the market for one of these, right?
Yeah.
Like, although it would be a handy studio tool, like that's not my everyday. Like if I was doing a session like that would utilize this every week, I'm not doing that, right? But I would definitely pick one of these or a Helix up if I was. There happens to be a Helix right there because the guy left it. We're actually working again on Saturday and just left it in case, I don't know, in case it got forgotten or something. So
I'll send you some presets.
yeah. So like, but anyway, so I don't know why I got off track there. I'm not really in the market for this, so I'm not really paying attention to which one I feel like I would prefer. But like I do feel like on the surface, they look like they basically do the same thing. They've got their inputs and outputs. Maybe one of them has 4 while the other one has 3 or something, you know?
Yeah.
But
there's little differences, right? Go back to that I/O view.
Yeah, the I/O panel here.
Right. So on this, like looking at it compared to the back of a Helix, right? Helix has 4 effects loops and 4 sets of sends and returns, whereas this doesn't have that, but inputs and outputs can be used in that way. It's just how you assign them.
Right.
So they're kind of labeled differently. And
it's a full 8x8 interface, and you can just sort of repurpose them in that sense.
Yeah, so Doug says no sends and returns, which is, they're not labeled that. It's kind of there. You can just
make it. You would just go to this grid and draw it. Right.
Yeah,
you would just draw a send and then put something in that path, put some hardware in that path.
Right. I think this kind of comes down to ecosystem, really, and sort of brand, not identity, but sort of brand. Like,
it's if
which
you're in
you
one of
like
those
to use
ecosystems already. Yeah.
Right. And would I like an FM9? Sure, I would have a blast with it, I bet. But I am not set up really to get that granular with the tones between all these things.
Right. And so that's the other side of it, is like there's feature differences that you could dig into and be like, well, this one's going to work better for me. Although, frankly, I just look at both of them and kind of go, well, they both would kind of work for anybody who's using one of these. So really, I think it is going to come down to like, which software do you prefer? Or like if you set them down side by side and you were like, okay, I'm going to head-to-head these, make me an AC30, you both do it. And then which one do you like better, and walk out of the store. Like, you're going to be fine. You know, you're going to pick which one sounds better to you in that moment, and you're going to be fine. Yeah. A little more powerful one way or the other. I mean, the cost you said was essentially the same. Like, they definitely built these at a price point.
The FM3 is $1,100. The FM9 is $1,600, and that's the Helix zone. And you can get an
16,
HX Stomp.
right?
Yeah, you can get an HX Stomp for $599.
Yeah,
or $699. It's under $1,000 by a decent amount. So, like there's Line 6 is still really occupying that entry level market, big time. Like if you're not, although Headrush did just introduce something earlier in between episodes that's like maybe $3.99. It's much smaller though. So
Now
Doug is asking a question. He's asking what the hum buster is. Fractal has this thing on there.
That's for bust and hum.
Yeah, obviously. He says it on the tin.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's it's Fractals. It's what they call their ground lift.
It's a ground
thing.
loop isolator.
Right. He's asking why would you need to toggle the ground lift on and off throughout a gig, which you don't. It's just when you plug it in, it just doesn't hum, I guess. You don't have to push a button to make it stop humming like you do on
So
Helix.
does it just detect?
I think it just detects.
Yeah.
Also, it could just be if somebody plugs in the blender at the bar, maybe you suddenly get ground loop, like
Yeah.
you could be in a weird place.
But what he's saying is like if removing the ground, if removing the ground doesn't hurt anything, why isn't it just always removed? And it's not that it doesn't hurt. Like you have to do that correctly, you have to transformer couple it, and that doesn't change nothing about the sound. It's not significant usually if it's done right, but it doesn't change nothing. So I get why you maybe wouldn't always want it. It's not just disconnecting a wire, because there's plenty of times, like if you have an actual ground loop, lifting the ground wire isn't actually going to prevent that because it's being carried on the signal wire as well. If it's a true loop, which it can be with a unit like this, because you can have audio when you're going to front of house and back from front of house. You can easily create a loop when you've got bidirectional audio between two different devices like that.
Right.
And so you transformer couple them so you're magnetically isolated. It's the only surefire way to do it.
My FR cab and the Helix both have a ground lift button. And the first time I brought the Helix to practice, plugged it in, like tons.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
And the guys were like, "Oh, nice going. What, like, you got this new piece of gear," and it's like, "Come on."
Wow.
So, yeah. Oh, okay.
R2's on the fritz, asshole.
Yeah. Click that little button. Gone. So anyway.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy a Fractal product, I think this is the one to really consider, because it is super crazy powerful, and it is also giggable. And I think that's a huge thing. For me, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
The rack unit stuff, you can get Helix in a rack, but you either got to control it over software or on the interface itself. Again, it's like you're just punching in on a microwave, or buy the controller.
There's a segment of the population that uses racks that might prefer that sort of thing, but they still have to have some kind of floor switch to control it unless there's somebody else doing that for them, right? So that ends up being a vanishingly small cross-section of the population that wouldn't be better served with this.
And you can also like program this stuff to change over MIDI, and maybe you don't need a controller, but let's be real.
But that's what I'm saying. Like somebody has to operate that for you still, like in that case. So I guess what I'm saying is I feel like the rack versions of all of these things are sort of a product of their time. It was like, because these weren't here yet. It's not the best form factor for anybody.
Well,
ultimately.
I think when Helix came out, they both came out together. The floorboard. The floor and the rack unit came out at the same time.
But like, I think people were just like expecting the rack unit.
Oh, yes, yes. I see what you're saying.
There's I can't, I'm trying to imagine a scenario. It's like such a small portion of the user base that would, for which that is actually the best way to do it. You know, maybe it would be me. Maybe I'm the only one for whom that would fit better. A studio is the only place that would actually fit better in the world, because I'm not controlling it on the floor for the most part, So
yeah. I mean, with stuff like snapshots though, like in scenes and whatever Fractal calls it, like you kind of don't have to worry about much of that, because it is a single tap to change a sound, to change an entire signal chain. But
well, yeah, I know, but
Doug, I think this is approximately the size of a Helix floor.
They never say though, do they?
The FM3 is huge. It is way bigger than an HX stop. So that's another thing, right? Like portability, and
they
just
never
the
got
scale.
to that very small form factor.
Right. Yeah, do a quick Google of FM3 versus HX stomp. You could fit 2 stomps inside the FM3, I feel like. But so it's cool.
I wonder if I should load up the...
Is there like a specs page or something? I don't know. It doesn't really
owner's
matter.
manual. All right, this is boring.
But
okay.
Of course,
Anywho.
there's a huge community, just like with all the other stuff. You can trade presets and you can. It's in the Helix groups that I'm a part of. When this thing was announced, everyone was like, "Oh no, who's gonna switch?" Which is like such a stupid conversation. But
Well, there's rich guys out there though that are just like, "Burp, take
Yep,
my
that's
money,"
true.
you know. Oh, it's
Yeah.
newer.
oh yeah, the blues lawyers.
All right. Look, people. Are you guys ready? Do you guys know what time it is? I'm looking at you, chat. Do you know what time it is? Do you know? Do you have any idea? I do not know. Star Trek
I
time?
think you
No.
all actually know. You're just
You all actually know. You're just fucking with me. Here we
we've
go.
only done it every episode for 100 goddamn episodes.
Pedal Genie is like the Netflix of guitar pedals. Rent any pedal you want for as long as you want for one low monthly price. Shipping is included and there are no late fees or time limits. With over 1,500 pedals to try from nearly 100 different manufacturers, Pedal Genie definitely has the gear you want to try. Subscriptions start with Flex at just $19.95 a month. Try out one pedal at a time for as long as you want. Send it back when you're ready for the next one. For only $39.95 a month, the standard subscription includes shipping, so you could have a different pedal every few days. If one isn't enough for you, Pedal Genie Pro gets you 3 pedals at a time for only $64.95 a month. Shipping included. There's a subscription for everyone, and best of all, your first month is free. If you find the pedal of your dreams, the one you just have to keep, Pedal Genie will offer you a buyout option. Prices vary with the length of your membership and the type of pedal, but you'll definitely get an awesome price for the pedal in your hand. So head to pedalgenie.com to fill up your wish list with pedals, and they'll send out your first pedal ASAP. Pedal Genie. All your pedal wishes granted.
All right, guys.
Very good. Very good.
I just realized I forgot to throw up the Pedal Genie website and wiggle it around. Oh well. You heard the lady. You heard the lady. She told you the thing to do. Okay, so this is going to be a quick one this time because we're talking about what I've got from Pedal Genie inexplicably, which I'm sure this is my fault, but this is obviously not the sort of thing I would actually have wanted to receive and demo on the show, is the OMEC Teleport, which is by Orange.
I remember talking about this, and I don't remember what it does.
I don't think anybody remembers what it does. It's inexplicable. So the OMEC Teleport is an audio interface for guitar. So I'm holding it up right here, but it's there on the screen here. So we'll try to get a good look. So there's the picture. So it's this mini pedal sized job. It's got your USB-B on the top. Okay, and it's got a power jack. All the reviews complain heavily that it does not come with a power supply. It just runs on a pedal power supply, right?
Oh, okay.
So you're thinking,
all right.
like, welcome to the fucking world of pedals, all you dumb idiots. Pedals don't come with power supplies. You're supposed to have that if you have a pedal board, okay? But here's the thing. This is sort of not a pedal, right? I mean, it's a pedal, but it's an audio interface, okay? So there are people buying this from Orange instead of buying like the thing from Apogee, right? They're just connecting to this to a computer. They don't have pedals. They don't have a 9-volt supply laying around. So it is, in the sense, kind of an oversight because they're overlapping into another market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I have a question.
And it's hitting them hard in the reviews. What's up?
What's the foot switch for?
It turns it on and off, Derek. You know.
No, hang on.
Like
what part of
pedal.
it turns on and off? Is it a mute or does it turn the interface off?
It mutes the audio to the digital source.
But not the analog source, not your quarter inch?
Well, the analog source comes from the digital source.
No.
So here's the thing. If you wanted to install this in a pedal board as sort of a split, this does not do that as far as I can tell. This translates your guitar signal into digital that a computer or phone of any kind can read. It is I forget what it's CAD. So basically it just appears as a generic audio device to anything.
Okay.
Like it doesn't require a driver of any kind. And I did verify, like I plugged this into my computer earlier and OBS sees it as a USB audio device in stereo. So there is
stereo.
There is not a
cool.
through, there is out 1 and out 2. And that's because the output of this could easily be stereo because whatever you're doing to it in your computer or phone is probably stereo.
Okay,
right?
so you could run this out to your MacBook and run it through some plugins and then back into your pedal board and into your amp.
Peak or whatever. What's the stupid thing that makes a bunch of amps? Any of those softwares that run on computer. People talk about running this into DAWs, but the reviews also say that there are many that don't respect it, that they aren't prepared to deal with generic audio devices. They need you to have a proper device. And sometimes ASIO for All works, sometimes it doesn't. ASIO for All is a little finicky kind of beta software anyway. So this just turns your guitar into something a computer can hear. And
but doesn't
then the
keep
output from it is the output from your computer. So if I plug this into my computer and plug this output into speakers, I could watch YouTube on those speakers with this. This is a sound card for your computer. Do you know what I mean? Like assuming that my computer is like anything, it would just see it as a typical audio device. If I plug this in, set my Mac to output through it.
So Doug's saying it's not actually an interface, but it is because you can record your guitar with it.
Right. It is actually an interface. It's not actually a pedal. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I have no way of like demoing this right now for you.
That's okay.
This is Sound Blaster. So I really don't have any way of demoing this because like I could plug it in and OBS can hear it, but you guys in Discord won't be able to hear it and it'll just sound like dry guitar.
Right.
Like DI guitar.
So now tell me again, the foot switch mutes the...
The foot switch turns this little light on and off, Derek. That's what it does.
Oh, beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. So if I plug this in and I turn on a new audio device in OBS so that I can see my guitar on the meter, when I click this off, there's no audio.
So say this is on your pedal board and it's also going into the front of your amp. It doesn't mute that though, right?
I actually don't know because I've not hooked it up in that way.
Okay.
Maybe I could try that.
Don't sweat it, I guess.
I could do it.
So now I guess the other question is, does it mute that digital signal or does it disconnect the device?
It mutes the signal. It doesn't disconnect the device.
Okay,
that I know because I did plug it. Like I said, I plugged it in and just clicked the mute and it just went away. Let me just get that guitar.
Okay. I'm supposed to vamp now. I'm typing in the chat when I shouldn't be. I don't think this is a great product. I feel like, I don't know. That feels harsh. But there's a lot of reviews here on the site like, this is the greatest thing ever. But like, it doesn't need to have a foot switch. It doesn't need to have the pedal format. And I don't know. This has got to be white labeled OEM. I don't know why Orange is making this.
It doesn't make sense. So I don't know why it's in this format either. It's ostensibly the only reason it would be in this format is if what you were trying to do with it is integrate a computer or phone into your pedal board.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the only reason that this is the thing you actually want instead of one of these other devices that's kind of configured to work with a computer or a phone. Right. Like one of the Apogee, like
the
HD,
Jam,
the Jam. That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yes.
I need one more cable. So basically, I'm not going to hook this up by USB. Or I mean, I can, but it doesn't. Well, you guys aren't going to hear anything. But I'm just going to hook this up and see if audio passes through it when it's not connected to a computer.
Yeah.
Because actually that would kill it right there. This would be dead in the water if it didn't, because that means you can't. If you put this on your pedal board, you actually can't use your pedal board unless your computer's in the loop, right?
Right.
So we're just going to do a little live test right now. So
which kind of confirms that again, the pedal's shape and form factor of it is a mistake. If that's what. Okay, yeah, I hear that.
So there's guitar. So when I turn the pedal on, since it's not connected to a computer,
oh no!
The foot switch, what it literally does then is it toggles between the digital path and the through path. So in off position, we have a through path.
Yeah.
Which means you could put this on your pedal board and you'd be fine. You'd leave it hooked up. It does have a buffer in it, I know. I don't know if it's. I mean, I should go back and look if it's true bypass.
It has a through, but it's not a. It's off. It's
the pedal's off, and these are all just reviews, and they're not telling me.
So now, I'm going to ask a stupid question. You have hooked that up to power right now, right?
Yeah, there's power.
Okay. Just double check.
Because the light's turning on and it mutes. So when the light's on, there's no guitar.
It would be a through if it if we had signal passing when it was engaged, but it's...
Well, but think about this though. If you had signal passing when it was engaged, that would mean that it's mixing dry with digital.
True.
And it does not do that, because that would be wrong to do, because there's latency on the digital as well.
And so Doug
they're
is
saying right
mentioning...
here, the latency is as low as 4 milliseconds, depending on the hardware.
Doug is saying it sounds like we're talking about buffered bypass. Not exactly, because...
it says right here, buffered bypass, yeah. So
okay, right, but it's still... But that's not why it's not passing audio.
No, that has nothing to do with it. It could be true bypass. It's not.
Yeah.
It just happens to have a buffer in it. But that doesn't necessarily, So, and it comes with a version of Amplitude that Orange has made. So basically, like, you would have, if you bought this, you're not going to have to go find your own shit to plug it into.
Okay, that's good.
You'd have Amplitude, which probably comes with all the Orange stuff built into it, right? Yeah. And I mean, it's a quality thing. Mono in, stereo out with a parallel buffer. It's odd. I think it's an odd thing. I'm just gonna get to where I can set this guitar down.
It's that thing of like, it looks like a pedal, so it's marketing towards guitarists, right? Like it's to interface with some other stuff in your music making setup with your kind of analog guitar setup. That's kind of cool. But it's for people looking for audio interfaces, like you said.
I mean, what this is replacing is like an Apogee Jam, or if you have like a Scarlett or something and you're just using it to record your guitar into your computer, this could replace that in a simple way. But here's the thing. This doesn't have anything else on it. So because they stuck it in this pedal factor, by the way, this is $139 on Sweetwater right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what's an Apogee Jam cost? Does that have a headphone out?
No, which is why I had to stop using it at some point. Apogee Jam is $159.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't know. At the point where you're buying an Apogee Jam, this sounds like a good deal.
I'm sorry. The Apogee Jam now does have a headphone out.
Okay.
The newest
one. That's a missing feature here, because you've got to have your own speakers or whatever on your device. Mm-hmm. So if you connect this to your phone and like mine, your phone doesn't have a headphone port, then you need to get that cable that like splits it all out so you still have a headphone port. Or you got to use Bluetooth headphones, and then you've got latency then from this, latency from your headphones. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think this is weird. I think this is a weird product. And I think it's strange. Like, look how this picture here. So they've integrated it into this pedal board with a couple of other things in it, just for looks.
Yeah. So like
that doesn't need to be there, because here's the thing. Like, if you're gonna, like, what?
Yeah. So what are you doing here, right? So where it is on the board, it's first in line. It appears so it's taking the USB. From your dry guitar, and then maybe it's out running some plugins, and then back into the pedal board.
It's a cheap ass HX Stomp. That's what this is. This is but but you got to bring your own phone or computer or whatever and run their version of Amplitude on it or whatever. I mean, it's software agnostic. Whatever software you have, you can run this into. But you're going to deal with the latency, which you aren't dealing with in HX Stomp, because it's not. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's latency in the Helix and stuff, but it's vanishingly small. And I mean, maybe this is good too, but it's dependent on your computer. So if you bring a laptop that isn't very powerful and has to run a buffer size over 256 samples, then you're adding significant latency and you're never going to hear it. There's no direct monitoring, because I mean, you wouldn't hear the sound anyway, because you're putting it into the computer in order to change it and hear that.
Yeah. So, like, in the order of this pedal board here, right, the guitar goes into the OMAC, and then it's not splitting, but it's going USB to the computer. Maybe it's running some nifty plugins, and then it comes back into the pedal board. It runs into some other thing, and then an Eventide H9. Then where does it go, right? Is it going off into an amp that's being mic'd and recorded through a different interface?
Right. So that's the thing. Like, this is an interface, but it's not really a recording interface. Fully.
It's to introduce your laptop into your pedal board, basically.
Right. Yeah. Because otherwise you would go for something else. And I mean, sure, you could replace an Apogee Jam with this in a sense, but it doesn't have a headphone out, and you're totally dependent on, well, you just have to get like one of those weird cables for a phone. I mean, laptops have a headphone out, but it's not going to be nice.
It's a solution in search of a problem.
Yeah, I think it is. And when I opened this up and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is like a few hours before the show. I was like, what am I can't demo this. What am I even going to do? So I look on YouTube and I'm like, let's make sure that this isn't just completely stupid, or make sure I understand its stupidity at least before I go talking about it. And I found a video of somebody who was like, I needed a new interface because my interface broke. And she's like, I'm not using my Scarlett anymore. So I got this instead. Now, this does not replace your Scarlett. You don't have headphones. You don't have any mic inputs. You know, if you're just doing guitar and you happen to be listening through your computer speakers or through your computer's audio outputs, you know what I mean? Like, I assume her Scarlett was plugged into speakers or something. Not here. So I thought that was weird. And I ended up like watching most of the video, waiting for the part where she was going to explain to me like why that was a normal thing to say, but she did not.
You could do some pretty... this would allow you to do some stuff that other setups don't, but I don't think that's enough.
They aren't
of a
good
reason.
things though. Like, what could you do that's good? Like,
I don't know. Like, all I mean is introducing things that are plug-in exclusive into guitar signals, but that there's other ways to do that. It just allows you to run it directly then into other pedals on your board in an interesting way.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth $140 though. I mean,
no, I believe that's what it costs. I believe that that's a fair price for what's in here in the box, but it just doesn't really, that's so narrow. Like, I want to insert Amplitube here in my pedal board, then this is for you. Otherwise, look elsewhere. That's the only use case for this.
And honestly, the stock photography, not even stock, but the photo for this thing, if you're introducing Amplitube, amp and cab processing, this should be at the end.
This is right. I mean, but this guy's putting the Eventide H9 after whatever Amplitube, right?
Okay, God, yeah.
I don't know. I don't believe any of this in this photo is plugged in. I don't believe anybody set this up and played it and then took a picture of it.
Yeah. Hey, do we know anybody with Converse?
But look at all these producers and shit. Richard
Vernon
Fortas,
Reed,
fucking Tim Stewart. Producer. Oh my God. Are these all producers?
Producers? Maybe. Seems like a waste of money. And you're like $15 away from an Apogee Jam, which is a known, very usable, very great interface.
But actually doesn't take the place of this for that one use case. That's the thing.
That one thing. But is that one thing?
If that's what you're doing, then this is the pedal. This is what you get. It's the only thing that will do exactly that I know of, I've ever seen in my whole life.
Right. It's the only product in this market, you know.
Because Apogee Jam doesn't have any, I mean, these are high impedance outputs, right? They're meant to go on to more pedals. It's the only product I've ever seen that has that, actually.
I'm not super trusting.
It's just a dumb thing to have.
I'm not super trusting that these reviews are real. I bet they're just sort of paid spots. I don't know.
All the celebrity shit. Yeah. I mean, if you look at like the Sweetwater page for what's real, it's, middle of the road. They're averaging out like around 3 stars or something. And
probably
some people
because
are like,
of things
this
like
is cool.
I need a power supply.
Well, there's a lot of I need a power supply with this. Why doesn't it come with a power supply? But the trouble is, this is not the right product for you if you don't have a pedal board. Because you'd be better served with an Apogee Jam or any of those other things. There are cheaper ones. There are ones that are $100. You could spend $99 on the one from M Audio or I forget what it is. It's one of those other companies, right? If you're trying to insert Amplitube or something like that into your pedal board at some point, then this is it. And you don't need a power supply because you definitely already have one because you already have a pedal board. So if you're one of the people complaining in the reviews that this doesn't have a power supply, you didn't do your research. This is not the product for you.
Yeah, you bought the wrong thing.
But it's a super narrow thing. So anyway.
I'll tell you, I would not want this occupying a spot on my power supply though. when I could use that for
precious
something
power
cool.
supply real estate.
Right? Like I've got an 8 output thing. Like I would much rather have some other, even a fucking tuner. Like I would much rather have something that's, I don't know. Anyway, we should move on. We're getting fired.
We totally should. We're getting
Doug says you're $50 away from a good product. I can't agree more.
Yeah, I mean, add a power supply in the box to this and a headphone out. And now you're killing it. Like, does that cost $50? I do not fucking think so. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be a crazy good headphone output. You know what I mean? Like, it could be anything, but that means that you don't have to put this on a pedal board.
Yeah.
It can also just be an interface.
It also does not need a foot switch.
Well,
but then it won't look like a guitar pedal.
But here's the thing. Okay, so let's go back to the narrow use. Okay, this is I'm the guy who has a pedal board, but I want to put Amplitube right here. I want to put it between my Tube Screamer and my H9. Okay, and so I'm gonna there it is. It's on my pedal board. Now Amplitube has a I don't know, pick anything. It has a sound in it, right? It has some effect.
Yeah.
It's got a rotary speaker effect. I'm running a rotary speaker in Amplitube, and I'm not in my H9 for some reason. This is a terrible. I just created. Okay, so yes. I have this pedal, and then I have a Tube Screamer, and then I have this pedal, and then I have a real Echo Rec. Okay. Now I need to put some reverb. No, an amp. No, I don't know. The point is, okay, picture that there's an effect running on this. I can bypass that effect while I'm playing on stage.
Sure. Okay.
This is what I'm trying to get to. Okay, yes. So in that narrow case where you're the guy, that's why it has the damn foot switch. But it needs a headphone port and a little wall wart. Just put one of those little one spots in the box with it. Job done.
So niche though. It is so niche.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, you know what? Thanks, Pedal Genie. I see what you did.
Yeah. I see you, Pedal Genie.
I see what you're up to. Andrew in the chat, I just showed up and it sounds like Justin has no clue what's going on.
Well, that's not exactly correct.
Oh, it's the contrary, sir.
I think I knew something that Orange didn't.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay. All right. I also
that's
don't.
Hold on. This is.
Hang on.
This is insightful. From Doug.
Oh, look at this.
I think this is emblematic of an emerging problem right now. We have a ton of guitarists suddenly trying to break into the honestly complex world of home recording. I didn't pre-read this before I started reading, by the way, so if he gets racist at the end, it was him and not me. And trying to figure out what they need. Now we have companies selling half-cocked, not quite solutions that don't do the thing they need to do, but musicians will still buy them because they don't know any better. And shame on you, Orange, for putting your name not on the front because you know it's stupid, just in the back where you think
you're going to cover it with
won't
Velcro.
notice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, I don't disagree. Mm-hmm. I remember talking about that when it came out. We were like, oh, interesting. We didn't know how it worked at the time. And it's like, oh, neat.
Like me when I opened it earlier today. Oh, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, oh, cool. Okay, I get it. Oh, no, I don't. No, I do not get it.
Okay. On to the next thing.
Yeah, real quick. I still have the it's over on that shelf. I still have that analog delay. I'm going to do a live stream hopefully this coming week. Nice. So the week that this show comes out, we got a little band break going down, I think. So I should have some time.
Okay. Right on. Next up.
I remember recording that, and I don't know what it is. Like, I'm really bad at this now.
Yeah.
What's fun? I have that thing. So you know that problem? I forget there's a word for it, but it's like you can't remember all the books you own. But if someone says, "Do you own blank?" you can say yes or no.
Right. Once they say it to you.
Yes, you can't like scan your bookshelf or your album collection or whatever, but you can say like, "Oh, have you tried the blank pedal?" I'd be like, "Yes."
Yes.
No.
Yes. Exactly. This one's from Empress.
The Trem?
Well, I don't know.
No.
It's called Nebulous.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like it's a phaser or something.
Phaser, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nebulous. Okay, so we return of the reviews. Now I saw when I announced that we were going to have reviews in the chat, everyone was reviewing the reviews.
Yes, we got
I saw
a good
reviews
4.
of 7 out of 2, 4 out of 4, 2 out of 4. It's all over the map.
Yeah.
Frankly. But anyway, should I put this
3.5
on screen or do you
bars.
want this to be secret?
Put the product on screen. I posted a link in the chat.
Oh, you went straight to the review.
I linked to the review for you and me, but I sent a link in the chat to the actual product. This is for the what is it called? The Best Choice Products Semi-Hollow Body Electric Guitar Set with dual humbucker pickups, 3-way pickup selector, case, electronic tuner, capo strap, picks, cutaway design, red.
The market of beginner guitars on Amazon is vast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's $179.99. It's $180 folks. And if you're not familiar with reviews, we're here talking about the quality of the review on a product, not the quality of the product itself, because that's kind of irrelevant here. We want to know if the review is helpful for those that are maybe looking for the product. So this is a 335 style guitar. It's got block inlays. At a distance, it looks pretty nice.
It's got binding. I mean, what's this picture for? Oh, they're explaining what the solid and hollow body are. I shouldn't, whatever. This is you.
I like that they're doing red check marks, not red X's, because it's like it's just a difference. It's not necessarily
look
bad.
at the tobacco burst, or does that count as sunburst?
Sunburst.
Sun to me.
That's pretty nice. The black back. So it's all around a good looking guitar.
Yeah.
Okay.
From a distance.
So from a distance, if you squint, Okay, so this is a review from Shane on July 21st of 2020. He gave it 5 stars. He says, I've been looking for a guitar like this for 8 years, followed by 3 exclamation points.
Holy shit, dude.
97 people have found this helpful. I learned a thing when researching this review. You can attach videos to Amazon reviews.
Yes.
And there's a video of Shane playing this guitar.
Fun fact, I have been paid to make a video review for a microphone on Amazon before.
No kidding.
Yep.
So, okay, here's the review. I've always had a passion for guitar. I was inspired by the guitar in Back to the Future Part 1 when Michael J. Fox played Johnny B. Good as the dance.
Yes, as the dance.
I'm going to jot that down, as the dance.
As the dance.
My mom got me a Yamaha Pacifica, and I thought it was the same one. I got a job recently and bought this guitar. It's amazing. It looks good, plays good, and definitely feels good. Would rate higher if I could.
Oh, wow. He wants a 6-point scale.
He wants a 6 out of 5. Now, the video is him playing the Johnny B. Good riff. He's learning guitar, let's say. So it's a little sloppy, a little rough around the edges.
As Doug alluded to in the chat, he hasn't been playing guitar for 8 years. He's been searching for guitar for 8 years.
Yes, a subtle but distinct difference. So, like, that's the whole thing. It was just a few lines here. I love the passion, right? This guy is so excited about playing guitar, and he's so excited to have this guitar. He's not maybe experienced enough with gear and like the nitty gritty of it all, like we're in all the time, to know that the guitar in Back to the Future is not this guitar, nor is it actually. There's this whole fun thing that so they go back to 1955. That's actually a 59 330 345, I believe, or 355, something like that. So okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the point is, he wanted the 335-ish look, right, in red.
Right. Yes. And
that's what he wanted, because he wanted to be Michael J. Fox trying to get his parents back together, trying to get his parents to bone down.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't fade away. He's doing the things you got to do
Yeah. So
with a guitar.
what do you rate this review?
Do you think Shane's parents aren't together? Oh my God. So poignant,
Whoa.
Eric.
Like maybe he secretly identifies
He's
with
like-
Back to the Future and doesn't really know it yet. You know,
Yeah,
guy's
he's
obviously
like-
young. So,
He's going to get that riff so right.
oh, Andrew suggests an interesting point. Maybe he just wants to make out with his mom. So I want to rate this review pretty highly because I said, I genuinely love that he's excited about learning guitar, and
And I'm really pulling for his parents.
yeah. And so I got to pull up a Yamaha Pacifica. I want to see what that is.
Okay.
I thought that was like an S style guitar, but maybe not.
All right, hold on.
I got a job recently and bought this guitar. Get it, brother. Like that's it, right?
Do it.
I can't tell you how many times I was like, I need to get a job so I can buy this guitar. I did that. That was my life. It's the best. And then when you finally get it, you've earned it. You worked hard for it buy your first guitar. What a moment, you know?
Okay, so these are Yamaha Pacifica series guitars.
Yeah, S style.
They're
Okay.
pretty far from it.
Pretty far.
So he must have just heard that name, right? Like somebody said
Could be.
Pacifica to him. He didn't even, because you wouldn't look at this. He said his mom, oh, that's what it was. He said his mom got him a Pacifica thinking that was the one.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so he didn't look at this and think, oh, that's the.
Well, sure.
Johnny
Anybody
Be Good
could
or whatever.
identify that. Yeah.
Anyway.
These are kind of cool looking. I'm into the Pacifica.
Yeah, it's like a
Little
sharp
pointier
horned,
strat.
little stratty thing.
I like the HSS ones.
Yeah,
Neat.
cool.
I'm going to give
Anyways,
this.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this guy.
I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. It's great.
I also 5 out of 5. You know, where this guitar is going, we don't need roads. How many more of these do you think we have?
Whatever. I'm writing it all down.
the guitar that kisses your mom. I don't know. That's nothing. That's not. I don't like that one.
So,
yeah,
this thing has good reviews. Like it's a 4.3 out of 5.
Well, I think when you're looking for a beginner guitar, like when you're looking at the package that has this kit, you know, it's got strings and a strap and a capo and all that. Like, yeah, like this is. How can you go? I mean, unless it's literally like gonna cut your hand right out of the box, which I guess is a possibility. Yeah. Like, so do we buy one? Well, no, we don't buy. We're buy the review, Eric. We're reviewing the review. God damn it.
Good damn it. Oh, here's a thin line style telly for $109.
You're getting distracted, Derek. I'm gonna
save
get us
$10 when you click this coupon.
Okay,
you guys, I can get a telly for $100.
We're moving on. We get 5 out of 5. What do you guys think in the chat? Do you
Honestly,
think,
it's kind
do you
of a
agree?
sweet
5
color.
out of 5 for review.
Look at the color of this thing.
We're not talking about the fucking guitar you found. God,
I'm into it.
We have listener questions to get into.
I'm sorry, you're right. We do. Let's move on.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 for the review plus tax. Those were separate.
What is this? Oh my lord. What is this thing?
You like it?
I have no idea who did this one.
Yeah, I don't know
anything
It could have been me, I guess.
I don't know anything anymore. Who is this? What is this?
This is the data corruptor from
Of course it
Earthquaker
is.
Devices. Yeah. So it's a very fun digital bit of
corruptor of data.
monstrosity. Corruptor of data.
Okay, Doug asked, when does a pedal board get so big or complicated that it ceases to be useful anymore?
4.
Ooh.
4 is the number.
We are in a fight.
No, I don't know. Okay, I actually think there are several answers to this. There are ways that I don't think 4 pedals is too much to manage, but I think there are different dimensions by which a pedal board could become unmanageable, and it's not like too many pedals. Too many of a certain kind of pedal, that would do it, right?
Yep.
And it's probably, I mean, 2 multi-effects. If you've got more than one multi-effect on your board, go to hell.
In what regard? Like,
like one of those things that has like several, like an H9. If you've got an H9 and you've got something else that's like an equivalent to an H9, fuck you. You know?
Yeah, I don't think that's it's not so big at that point, but it is complicated, right?
That becomes that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like that's something where I would go, this is wrong. Like that's what I'm thinking of. I'm trying to think, when do I think that the pedal board is wrong?
Well, let me ask you
there's
this.
a certain point where you're just going to have too much noise. Or you're just going to have too much. It's like when they did the world record for how many pedals they could string together, and it was like not music.
There's no guitar signal passing through.
There was
anymore.
nothing left. Your noise floor was louder than the guitar.
Too much noise. Devin Townsend disagrees. Well, let me ask you this. My kind of quote unquote main board has the timeline and the HX Stomp on it.
Right.
Timeline is exclusively delays, so it's maybe not a multi-effect.
Yeah, and delays that you could do on the HX Stomp, but it's also, that's pretty different. Like that would actually kind of complicate things to do that all in the H Stomp at that point, right?
It would.
Aren't you a little simpler when you're using the timeline?
Yeah, because the signal path for the HX Stomp, like I'm using that DSP for something else. I'm not also doing more delays in the HX Stomp.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's doing amps and cabs.
That's fine. I know you're calling me out for saying
but I don't think
effects,
well,
but it's
no,
not the
I don't
same
think,
thing, right?
I wouldn't call the timeline a multi-effect, I think.
No, it's a delay.
It's got multiple delay effects in it, but it doesn't also do modulation.
It doesn't also have distortions. You know,
Yes,
the Boss ME50.
Mm-hmm.
That's a multi-effect. It's got 3 foot switches because one of them's the mod section and one of them's the distortion section and one of them's the whatever else, time effects section.
Yeah.
So obviously you wouldn't have more than one of those.
Yeah, and Doug's pointing out HX Stomp only has so many blocks worth of stuff, and some things there's a traditional guitar pedal that is maybe not in Helix, such as his example, the Walrus Audio Juliana. I have one of those on that same board, and it's great. And that pedal is super unique, and I really prefer the sound of it to the choruses in Helix.
Right. So if you have a Helix and you've got a bunch of pedals that are doing essentially generic jobs, if you have a TS9 and a Helix.
Right. Yeah. Right. Versus more bespoke pedals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then size, I think it comes down to like,
eventually the case has wheels.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you don't ever get to where you can't carry it. Right?
Yeah. Right. And I mean,
if you can't, then you're doing it wrong. But once that's the thing, like it just evolves. It just evolves into having wheels.
Justin Vamp.
And if your pedal board talks bad to your mom, if your pedal board makes out with your mom,
all right.
Okay.
I grab my headphones here. The thing is, like, this is the new board.
Don't tell him what I said, guys.
Look at this, right?
Well, you can hold it with one hand.
This is a small.
It's got like 8 pedals on it.
Right. Look how many pedals are on this thing, right? Look at this. Yeah. There's a load of pedals on this bad boy, and I love it. And I think this is the smallest board I've ever owned. That's not true. It's the smallest board I've ever like practically used for real stuff. That's not just like a little 1 or 2 pedal thing.
What's doubled up on there?
I've got a overdrive, a boost, and a fuzz. Like I guess you could call those all like drive pedals. You know.
They're a little overlapped, but they're not doubled.
A little.
Right.
Otherwise, nothing is overlapping. I've got 1 delay, 1 modulate, 1 chorus, 1 phaser, 1 tremolo. You know, there's multiple drive stages and there's multiple dirt pedals, but they're all serving different purposes. So I don't have 2 overdrives on this.
Right.
So, I mean.
So what do you think? So when does it become ceases to be useful was the question. When does
ceases to be useful? Like when you can't turn stuff on and off in a reasonable time for your riffs or something, that's a problem. So then you probably employ a switcher. But still, like
so can't reach or too much background noise or something goes out and It's going to take you your whole gig to find the bad cable.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Play signal path whack-a-mole.
Right.
Right. There's also just the little like, are you really using this? Like, show me the music you make with all of this gear, right?
Yeah. I see you have the rainbow machine. Who are you lying to? It better not be me.
I had a big pedal board for a long time and I loved it. It was a lot of fun, I often was like justifying it and finding ways to use it all because it was so big. And then I've downsized a few times now and I always feel great afterwards.
Yeah. Collective stress around gigs, concerts with the Delta variant growing concerning. Venues requiring proof of vaccination or a negative test.
Yeah,
I'm all about that.
Me too. I'm going to a show next weekend. First show properly in all of this. Tiny place, not a big arena or anything. I'm seeing Ariel Posen, if anybody's curious. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
He played guitar in the Brothers Landreth for a while.
Yeah.
So anyway,
first of all, the Delta variant is the thing now. Basically, that's it. Because it spreads more easily. So that's COVID now. It's all Delta. And that kind of, like, for me, that kind of means like, yeah, I'm vaccinated, but I know it works a little bit less than it did when I got it, because of time and because the Delta variant just a little quicker. So I never got used to taking my mask off anywhere anyway. If I go in a place, I never was taking, because I have a kid. So there was never a point, even before Delta variant, where I was taking it off. If I was indoors somewhere. So nothing's changed for me. I am thinking a little harder about, like, do I really need to go in there?
I'm starting to think that way again. I'm still currently planning to go to this show. I messaged the venue today, actually, asking if they were doing any sort of restrictions, if they required masks or cards or negative tests or anything like that. And they said not currently, but it can really change at a moment's notice. So be prepared. And they said, we really recommend bringing a mask, even if vaccinated. And they're requiring unvaccinated to mask. So how you prove that is just kind of on our system still. But
right, exactly.
The thing about venues requiring proof of vaccination, I understand why people are itchy about that, I think. However, I believe in science so much that I'm like, please do that, because I have proof of vaccination and I'm not concerned then. Like, I have the thing.
Yeah.
I understand there's plenty of people who are not vaccinated for good reasons or bad that are having a problem with that, but
too bad,
right? Like,
yeah, this isn't show us your papers, because that's what you're thinking. That's what these people are thinking, right? Like, you can't tell me to blah. You know what? Actually, I can. It is actually within my right to not be punched in the face by you. That's actually one of my rights, and it's my right that you don't get to just, like, go into somewhere and breathe on everybody, and you know what I mean. So, like, this isn't actually infringing on your rights to say you're not allowed to go infect other people, and it's not it's not. That's the analog is show us your papers, and that's not what's really going on.
And so with this show next weekend, they are not requiring proof of vaccination, at least not as of the time of this recording. But they said if we change that, we're going to email everybody. They even said we may refund people if needed, which was kind of interesting. So nice. Yes. If they said, yes, now suddenly proof of vaccination is required, part of me would kind of feel relieved by that, because I would go knowing that everyone there is vaccinated. And I would not have that, like, that little thing in the back of your mind of like, oh, these are strangers. I'm in an indoor crowded place. Like, there's that anxiousness that comes with it when you don't know. Yeah. But the knowing that's the key to this. So
yeah, I agree with
I'm kind of all for the proof of vaccination, because I have the proof, and that's great for me. And I know that's maybe selfish, but also I got the vaccine, which is not selfish.
Well, it's not hard to get. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Anybody, like, there's too much. now, and because we saturated the people who were eager to get it, and now there's just like people who were resisting or lazy. So there's no excuse anymore. And unless you have like an actual like immunocompromised situation or something like, and then it's a little more complicated, but that's a very niche case. That's not a reason to not have these rules. And we're going on a trip around Thanksgiving time. We planned a trip to New Orleans.
Oh, cool. Okay.
The whole family. And
awesome.
I got a text from the registration thing for booking our trip. They sent me a text on the phone saying, this is weeks ago now, saying that every restaurant, gym, like a physical fitness place, anything like that, are all requiring proof of vaccination indoors to even go in the place.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I just whacked my microphone with my water bottle.
And I was like, awesome. In fact, I gave my card to Marielle. She brought it into school a couple of days ago to laminate our cards so they won't get all wrecked. And remarked to me at the time how easy that would be to fake, actually.
Very easy.
At the end of the day. At the end of the day. Yeah. So like that's the other thing. And I don't want to get into that whole thing, I guess, but
I guess.
Yeah,
I think if you're faking it, that's like a deliberate act of malice, in my opinion. But either way.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like if everywhere starts requiring proof of vaccination, then I don't know. Like I don't know if I'm out of line thinking like people are going to fake these, right? I mean, well, the materials exist on the internet already to fake it. Like I don't think right now it's in widespread use, like fake cards, but that's because requiring vaccinations is not super widespread yet. Mm-hmm. It's like sort of specific situations in specific places.
Yeah. So in a perfect situation, if you could require vaccines. Or proof of vaccination, and you could require, and there were no fake cards.
Yeah.
Problem solved a little bit, right? There's a major aspect of that problem that gets resolved that way. So
I'm not going to go like running down the street yelling about fake cards. Like I feel like a little bit, this is a bit like yelling about fake votes in the presidential election. Like, that's insignificant. And I mean, if somebody faked their vaccination record and then came into a concert and infected me, I'd be upset about that. But like statistically speaking, I imagine those are in the same category. It literally is not worth thinking about. You know, that's how vanishingly small it is. So I kind of assume that this would be similar. I don't really have I've not looked into it at all, but it's probably not really anything to worry about.
No, I agree. I feel weird right now for some reason. I feel like I'm flinging a hot take, and it's not that hot though, you know. And not. I feel like I have this. We don't talk about this kind of thing very often on the show, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
However, like the vaccine thing, I don't have patience for this anymore. I don't have patience for the. Well, you know, it's not whatever the argument may be. I just don't care. Like
you mean like you shouldn't get that because
or like don't tell me what to do kind of thing. Like I get that, but also like come on now.
But here's the trouble. You didn't get it when it was widely available and nobody was requiring you to. Like, and so now you're going to start saying, don't tell me what to do when it becomes required. You're just proving that we have to require it to make you do the right thing. Like if people would go and do the right thing on their own, then we could have less of this government mandate, intervention, get out of my bedroom sort of shit. You know what I mean? Like, but we don't. And that goes throughout human history. People were drinking radium because they thought it healed them, right? And everyone was dying from this. And they figured out it was the fucking radium they were drinking. It's not a magic tincture that cures your colds and heals your cancer or whatever. It gives you the cancer. Yeah. And they find that out and it's like, oh my God, radium is radioactive. We've just discovered this whole thing and it's horrible for you. People didn't stop drinking it until the FDA was created and then banned it. That's that's why we have to do stuff like this, is because you can say radium is radioactive and it's horrible for you. It's not medicine. You were lied to. People will not stop drinking it.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the chat. Radium Nightcap is my new band name.
Yeah. But that's it. I mean, that's the thing. That's why, and I'm sorry, like, I guess if in a perfect world, yeah, we wouldn't have to mandate these things, but because people would just go, oh, wow, is this, hey, expert, is this the right thing to do? Yes. Is it safe? Yes. Okay. Off I go. But you don't. And so that's why we have to mandate it. So if you are one of those people, or you meet one of those people that's like, I don't care, I think vaccines are fine, but the government shouldn't be telling us to XYZ. Do you have your vaccine? You probably don't. You sure as shit wouldn't be yelling about it right now if you did. Yeah. And so then it's like, well, then do the fucking right thing. You have that opinion, you better be backing it up by actually doing the right thing on your own without the government intervention. Otherwise, that's why the government has to intervene, because you're a moron and you're either going to get sick and you're going to go to the hospital. And if you don't have the money to pay for that, we're all going to have to save you. Or you're going to get somebody else sick. These are all things that affect other people. Like, you can keep your libertarian ideals all you want, but you don't live on the fucking moon. If you dump garbage in your river, it's going to go downstream somewhere. Like, things are not just you. You live in a society no matter how much you try not to. And so, fuck you. That's my hot take.
That's what I was feeling like we were saying, and then I'm with you. I'm totally with you. And then you just fucking said it. I think I've said this before on the show, just like very brief story time. My wife works at a VA medical center as a federal employee. Okay, so she's like in that group. Yeah. She has been to work every day during the pandemic as a frontline medical worker, and it has really fucking sucked. It's been really, really difficult physically, emotionally. Just the burnout is so insane. It's really hard. Andrew in the chat is a first responder in Canada, and he's been reporting as well. It's insane. It's so hard. So Beth had the opportunity to get the vaccine very early. She got it in January. Or I'm sorry, no, she got it in December. So we're coming up on...
She was the first in the office and in the first cohort, right?
She was the first employee at the Manchester VA to get the vaccine. Yeah. And it was this big... She sent me a text at home, I think I can get the vaccine today. And it was this very early in all of this. And we all felt that like major apprehension of like, oh, well, should you get it? Mm. And I felt like such a jerk, just such an asshole for thinking that way and feeling like this is the right thing to do, right? And well, I don't know, it's so soon. And I felt that thing that people feel and base this decision on. But she came home or she said like they might have the vaccine later this week. She came home and she's like, I have to get it. It's just we can't do this anymore. It's the right thing to do. Yeah. And then in the moment, like she had this like opening in the schedule and, do you want to go get it right now? They said. And she was like, okay, here we go. Run me through the machine. And she got it. And it was it was honestly like overwhelming and emotional because it was like, oh my God, finally some fucking hope.
Right. It felt like a turning point.
Yes. It's a person that I actually know in real life. It's not just in the news. And she was the first amongst all our friends and stuff. So anyway, the fact that it's almost a year since she's been vaccinated and we're still dealing with this like, well, show me your papers kind of conversation, go to hell. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. Like I don't have patience for that anymore. And
you know what, we're gonna have to get used to this because probably this is endemic now. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be like the flu. We're just gonna get it every year.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can knock it down or figure some things out so that it's not killing people. Like hopefully we can get the death rate down to somewhere closer to the flu. And the infection rate and things like that, we can start getting things a little closer. But, but it's like this Delta variant stuff. Like we had an opportunity, like as a species, to get enough shots in arms that the Delta variant wouldn't have happened. The Delta variant happens because every time it infects a new person, it's an opportunity for a small mutation. And sooner or later, one of those is just going to be just right, so it's more infectious. So that's the thing, and that's exactly what happened. There's enough people going, I'm not getting a for whatever dumb reason you think you have. And if y'all did, if everybody did, or, or keep the fucking mask off on your face, it's not that big a deal. Stop, you don't have to actually go into a sit-down restaurant that's crowded. That's not actually a part of your life that you can't live without, things like that. And Tim's saying in the chat, vaccinated and
has Delta,
infected anyway.
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about COVID now. That's the thing about the Delta variant. It goes through the vaccine at a higher rate.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit less effective. So anyway,
yes, the collective stress, yeah, it's real. When it comes to the show that I have in October, it is on my mind about should we have it? Will we have it? I don't want to host a thing that's potentially dangerous. And I think we're still fine. At least today, we're still fine. But to say I'm not thinking about it would be lying. It's a month away. A lot can happen in a month, as we've seen. So for the gigging front, as the person that's doing the performance and inviting groups, that there's a stress for that for real. And I don't want to be the reason for something that gets out of hand. When it comes to venues requiring proof, like we said, or a negative test or whatever, yes, please do it. please do it. And then please get vaccinated so we don't have to do it. That's all it is. Keep wearing masks so we can stop wearing masks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We got real fired up on that one.
We did.
Oh. Hey, butts, guitars, pedals.
All right. Do you? I noticed there's nothing written in the suggestions of the week.
Yeah, here I'll go. It's not really a suggestion, but I got a new Leatherman.
Do you want me to play a sound? Hold on.
I got a new Leatherman today. I don't know what that is.
It's a plague rat. Go on.
Okay, I got a new Leatherman. This is actually a hand-me-down Leatherman from my dad. This is the.
Oh, that's nice.
This is the Skeletool CX. I had this Leatherman here, but you can hear it rattling.
Uh-oh.
That's because the little thumb lever thing on this side, the little stopper bar, broke, and it won't lock tools in place anymore, which is pretty dang dangerous. So if you're
that actually makes the device next to useless.
Yeah, so I basically only use it for pliers now, and the tools on the other side still lock, so it's okay. However, this is rather big and bulky and heavy.
Mm-hmm.
This one is much smaller and lighter. It's got this really rad carabiner clip on it.
Oh yeah,
which doubles as a bottle opener because so you can. I like that I can clip this to my hiking bag or something like that and not have it have it accessible but not in my pocket.
Right.
This new design allows for the knife to open from the outside without opening the pliers.
The whole thing,
which is great.
So show the plier. I'm having trouble picturing how it opens. Oh, that's sleek. Yeah.
Okay, so it's got this
curve.
The curve, and then there's a screwdriver here at the end.
Yeah. That's just always out, kind of.
Right, but the bit comes out, and it's a two-sided thing, and then there's another. There's a flathead bit in the arm here that you can swap in.
Swap it in. Nice.
Yeah. So and then it's the grip, the curve is pretty nice in the hand.
That's good. Yeah.
The knife part then goes on the inside, and it won't pop out and cut yourself accidentally.
Right.
So you can see how it kind of goes like that. It makes this very cool design, and it's light, and it's got the little pocket clip on it right there, so I can keep it in my jeans, which is nice, and it's good. Get a Leatherman. This is only a 3-tool job, but it's I like it a lot. I'm going to carry it a lot.
Those are important 3 tools.
Mm-hmm.
Castlevania on Netflix. It's a real good show, says Doug. All right. I was sort of what am I going to come up with? I don't know. Suggestions.
You got a YouTube channel or something, or an album, or a
shoot,
a movie or a book. Recommend your book. Because I almost recommended.
Have I not recommended that book yet?
I don't think so, because I read it too, and I almost threw it in this week, but I figured you might want to.
Yeah. Project Hail Mary. That's what we're reading right now. We actually have read very little in the past week. Just get too busy. So this is the newest book from the author of The Martian,
Andy Weir.
So I was definitely going to say Stephen Weir. So anyway, I'm glad you could feel that pregnant pause in my delivery and saved me. So so Project Hail Mary, if The Martian was kind of genre for you, competency porn, I've heard it called. This one,
I love that. To me so far, this one is better. And that's a shitty thing to say because you don't need to declare one better. They're both great. But The
for
Martian
some reason
kicks too. Like
The
book,
Martian slaps and it's great. This book has been so, I just can't, every time we like read a chapter or two, I'm just like, ee! It's so much fun. I love it in so many ways. And we like do to each other, we're hanging around with people that have no idea what we're doing and we'll just jazz hands. Yeah. And Marielle will say to me across the room, he does jazz hands back. And so anyway, get that story, get it in you.
Are you enjoying the book question?
Yes.
Oh,
New
gosh.
Word. Okay.
Yes. I also read it. I listened to the audiobook, and if you're an Audible member, cannot recommend the audiobook enough. It is a delight. It is so great. The performance is exceptional, and it's really more like it's not just a reading, it's a dramatic reading. It's awesome. It's truly performed, you know.
With a bit of
acted.
special effects too, because that becomes important to the story, and it's really neat.
It's truly acted out, which is great. So great. And I found out the movie rights have been sold for $3 million and they're going to be making a movie of it.
Yes. And who's the guy from the jazz movie?
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is on deck to play the lead part for this one. So that brings us to the end of our program today. So thanks everybody for hanging out.
This was a fun one.
This is a good one. In spite of that whole middle part where we got super negative and told people that the government gonna tell them what to do. Anyway, we would just be tickled pink if you would join us on Discord at discord.io/tone control. You come on in, you have a good time. And remember, in just a few episodes, that's episode 200, 4 episodes from now, we're going to open up recording night to all members of the Discord, not just the Patreons, so that you can check it out and see how much fun it is to be here in the chat with us. If you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/thetonecontrol, where you can become a supporter for as little as $1. And we are going to be sending out some special gifts for episode 200 as well to all of our Patreons. If you want to support the show extra bigly, you could become a supporter at $2 or more per month, and you'll be a supporter plus. That gives you a special role in Discord where you can send us private messages and I don't know, I'm just trying to make stuff up. Anyway, we recorded the show. We record the show in Discord, and you can come here and be with us on episodes that aren't episode 200. And
right.
To all our Patreons, we thank you deeply.
Which fun fact? That's most episodes.
That's almost. It's like 99.5%.
Who the hell is
episodes.
Patrick Stewart, and why is he type? Oh my god.
That just leaves me to read the names of all the Patreons. We thank you deeply. Carson Ricketts, Nick Greenwood, Timmy S., Matthew Fenslaw, Rice and Wolf, Jamie Evans, Jeffrey Wright, Doug King, Doug Gann, Righteous Ryan Johnson, Steve Huffman, Jonas Sabatini, Catrick Stewart, Andrew Walsh from Andrew's Alcove, OG friend of the show, Brian Rizzi, Doug Christ of 37 Effects, Sean Wright of Lollygagger Effects, Brian Gower, and Kyle McIntyre of the Tone Jerks podcast.
Yeah.
That's it.
Good shit.
Good shit. And I forgot to start playing the ending theme, so we're going to do that right now. Quick, vamp. Actually, I can clean this all up in post. I'm driving the bus now. Catrick Stewart. I like that. All right. Oh, my God.
Oh,
All right.
goodness. Guys, we
But
have some
anyway,
good titles, and you're going to miss it. So join the Patreon and get in here, and you can help us pick titles. See ya!
See you later.